You're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod. Enjoy the ride.
Hello and welcome to the 233rd episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. This is Coach Tim in Orlando, Florida. I'm here, gentlemen.
Okay. This is Matt, the student in Minneapolis.
And this is Spencer in Boston, Massachusetts, where, guys, I am ready for 2019. I know we're like about a week in,
hope so.
but I think I'm ready now for 2019.
Took you a week.
Are you guys feeling the buzz? Are you guys ready?
Oh, Tour Down Under is right around the corner.
Training camp?
We apologize to our listeners that we're very excited about a possible Mitch Docker episode. That's going to be like, I'm just going to say it out loud. Mitch Docker's coming on the podcast. So now,
No, it won't happen.
Mitch, you're going to let everybody down if you don't show up on the pod for our Jersey draft corner. But it's coming around the corner.
So you got any big 2019 plans on the docket there, Tim? Like what's coming down the pipes here for you?
Well, I do actually.
Interesting.
I set my Strava goals.
Oh,
Ooh, what are those?
So look,
What are
I
your
don't know if you
goals?
listened last week, but
I listened. It was
we missed you.
infuriating. It was infuriating. It's so you guys don't know how. Tim, you probably know because you missed some podcasts, but it's so hard to listen to our show when you're usually on it, and I can usually interject or point out when you're wrong.
yeah.
And I was just riding around listening to you guys, and Tim would say something, and I'm like, oh, how did he pronounce it that way? I just, and I thought about going through point by point and listing all the things I took issue with, but I really didn't want to go back and do that.
So now
I don't have any specific ones.
you've gotten the full listener experience. Then is what happened.
Yeah, I mean, I get it occasionally. I don't miss that many of these, but when I do, it's weird. I don't know how you people do it. Hats off to you.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about with the new year, new Tim, a new year, a new era, is that I finally grew up and became a member of Strava Premium.
Okay.
Because I figure for 8 years I've used Strava for free, so I might as well slip them $50. So it was a nice holiday gift from the folks.
What do you get for that?
I don't like power data analysis. I don't know, things I'm never going to use, but it's kind of
He sold me.
again, it's I'm sure. Hey, if Strava wants to send us info on what we get, I would be more than willing to read it on the air. I think you get additional like analysis and leaderboards and various things to make you feel important. But the point is, for 8 years, I've used a service nonstop for free. And I feel that, at some point I grew up. I can finally start paying some money. It's kind of like I used to use pirate feeds for every cyclocross or road race in the world. And now I pay the NBC Sports Gold money and I feel good about myself. And because I can
Tim,
afford it, I guess.
Now with the premium Strava, are we going to see premium Tim in 2019?
Well, that's what I was getting at. So they do have this thing where you can add your goals for the year.
I am
set my
on the
goal
edge. I don't know if you can see in the video my chair, but I don't need the whole seat. I've paid for the whole thing, but I only need the edge, Tim.
Yeah, I've set my goals. I don't know if I'm going to share them with you guys, but I think I'm going to be throwing down a lot more miles than you guys. I think I'm going to be next level, and I may actually even do some USA cycling races this year.
I have one question.
These are big January goals. Okay.
Derek Bouchard Hall left the podcast. Not only did he leave USA Cycling,
broke our hearts.
he didn't come on the podcast to say bye.
Yeah.
Busy man.
But I gotta pick up the slack for DBH leaving the country.
Sure.
I gotta now start racing again.
So I have one question about your goals, Tim, and you don't have to disclose too much, but I do have one important question. Does any of these goals include Schwabegen 2019?
No.
Okay.
Oh, wow. He's just going out on a high note.
I'm thinking maybe a cyclocross race in my future in Madison around the time when the UCI Cyclocross World Cup comes through.
Interesting.
I'm just throwing it out there, gentlemen.
It's a distinct possibility.
Little guy, you're gonna have to sandbag down to my level, but I'm pretty
can't
sure
do
at the
it.
minimum I can race against Sven Nys at the Lakefront Cross Race,
Yeah.
maybe.
and maybe even do some kind of janky single speed race in Madison, and then
Yeah.
watch the race. I mean, come on,
Yeah. It's a good goal. Spencer, you got goals?
but
I've got
more goals.
See, I've got a dilemma with 2019. It's taken me a while to come around on it because 2018 I had a lot of goals. 2018 I did not meet any of those goals. It was
So just want to roll them over.
yeah, well, it was disappointing. My cycling career, my 2019, the back of the baseball card for Spencer Howe 2018, not impressive. Not one of the ones the kids are going to be collecting for years to come. I don't know. Is this the year I retire? Do I hang up the cleats? Like, did 20...
to be fair, you kind of retired in 2015.
Sure.
Yeah.
But did 2018 finally break me? Like, do I have zero racing goals whatsoever? I'm not sure.
I kind of think with people being gone now, I think it's fitting that maybe you retire too. He's your spirit racer in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's sort of an E.T. Elliott kind of thing. When people retires, you retire. You guys sort of feel each other's pain, I'm assuming.
I mean, little guy, you missed the conversation last week about people being gone, so.
Well, I mean,
You know,
I heard the
unfortunately for you, we're not going to rehash
Yeah.
that.
Well, I know.
But-
I mean, we can. I'm more than happy to.
But
You guys, my goal for the year is to get signed to a team since I am unattached for the first
something we
time
need-
in 11 plus years. I don't have
on.
a team built around me.
we need some
like
breaking
I've had
news
for years.
noise here, little guy. Breaking news noise.
this just in, Little Guy Racing, the team that the three of us created over 10 years ago, has disbanded.
Now, Tim, explain to the listeners. Now, we started a team. You and I had this idea, and we named it Little Guy Racing, but we had not signed Matt Allen to the team yet. What
No.
what
I
was
think you
the
had at that point. I mean, it came up in a conversation that I was at the table for the name. Didn't it?
We may have played it
Well,
that
originally,
way.
we were going to call it Team Awesome.
Yeah.
Originally, it was Team Awesome.
We-
That got shot down
The sponsor
quickly
shot
by-
that one down.
Yeah, well,
by the two other people at the table.
the fastest racer that we knew that we could convince to be on our team was our good friend Matt Allen, the little guy.
That shows you the power, the pull you guys had in 2007.
Yeah, not a lot of pull,
Yeah.
but
No.
we also knew that their pull was not enough to get the little guy on our team without naming the team after him so that he couldn't say no.
Yeah, it was hard to walk away from that offer. I mean,
Yeah.
being that I'd had no offers on the table up to that point.
Even
Been an
Peepo.
attached Cat 4.
You know,
Didn't get that.
we were an elite Category 3 team.
Yeah, I know.
mean, in fact, this Category 3 team schedule would be the, a lot of people would look up to this schedule. They'd sit there and they'd go, man, in 2006, you guys were doing Super Week. You guys are doing races at like the Oxbow Classic, one of the first races to ever mix road with gravel. I mean, I think a lot of pro teams would look at the schedule that we had in 2006 and going, man, that is exactly what I want to do to please my sponsor.
What
Yeah,
those Cat 3s were doing in 2006, that's the future.
Yeah.
It is.
There's a certain American team that I think took a little bit out of our playbook.
Yeah, and of course we're talking about. We're talking about a team that just wants to ball all the way to Kansas for the Dirty Kansas, and that is Team Education First, which announced their alternative calendar. Gentlemen, what is it going to be like when 8 Pro Tour racers show up to Dirty Kansas and just mop the floor?
Are they going to send a full contingent, or do you think they'll send
I
like
sure
3
hope
guys?
to God they do. I want Mitch Docker just directed, like barking orders about like, this is how we're pulling. I hope that this is like that scene in Breaking Away when there's the local guy from Kansas that's like, I know these roads. And then the guys from Team Education First just stick the frame pump right in the wheels and just roll away to the finish line. and get the kisses and the wreaths and the victories, because it is going to be amazing, and it is the death, the RIP of gravel racing as we know it, and it is going to be amazing.
You think so? So a couple years ago, I did Almanzo, and the Raleigh cross team at that point showed up. And that didn't
Raleigh cross team. Yes, that's just like a pro tour road team.
It's not
guy.
the same, but it's an intermediate. I mean, it like Driscoll, Burden, like it was
totally awesome.
No, but I'm saying like it was sort of a step in between, and it didn't ruin that race. You know, it didn't even like change the feel of the race very much.
Look, I know that you had a team named after you. I know that you are living up in Minnesota, and the dream is alive and well of the 90s. But let's be honest for a second here.
Coach
Tim is going to tell you a little something.
Can you explain to me the connection in that one?
Little guy, Coach Tim's got a little something. Just sit down on the end of the bench.
Lay down that Florida logic. Florida man explains something to Minnesota man. Let's hear it.
It is a world tour team showing up to Dirty Kansas.
Yeah, but they're like the lowest ranked world tour team.
No, that's Dimension data. but little guy, think about that. There's so much to discuss here and to pulverize through. Can I tell you guys what I'm disappointed in? And then we can get back to Dirty Kansas. Why isn't Education First showing up at Red Hook or the Mission Crit? I want them at Fixed Gear Crits, because that is clearly also something that they're totally failing to do. Instead, they're going to Dirty Kansas, which there has to be some kind of UCI rule against unsanctioned racing.
There must be.
Right? There must be something here where they can't do unsanctioned racing. So I'm expecting Mark Mattiot of FTJ to just totally just file a protest.
Yeah, is this going to turn into a thing where they can only send a maximum of 3 riders and they can't wear the official kit, and maybe that leads to some alternative version of the kit that's maybe all black, something like that?
It might be. I mean, like over the last weekend, Katusha was racing in Australia under a reduced team as like Katusha
but not an
Sport
all black kit.
No, but they had like a purple kit.
I feel like little guy may not have seen the leaked images of the Cannondale EF all black kit.
I've seen the images, man. You guys.
I don't think little guy's ready to ball with the all black kit of Team Education First. But little guy, a purple kit sounds amazing. An all black kit, I haven't even seen it yet, but I guarantee you're going to draft that thing number 1 next week in the jersey draft.
I mean, if it just means to ruin Mitch's time on our podcast, I might, just as a joke. But other than that, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of an all black kit, I gotta say.
So, Spencer,
yeah.
Team Education First showing up to Dirty Kansas. Is it going to ruin the race or end the race as we know it?
Well, I think the race was already ruined in 2018 when Katie Keogh destroyed everyone by herself. So, if 8 Education First pros show up and have a little team group ride for 200 miles, I don't think it's really going to make anything any worse than it already is by all the purist standards.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, little guy? What's going to be the reaction of the gravel community when Education First shows up to Kansas?
I think some people will be excited, some will be mad, and I bet they'll probably still not win. I bet they'll get ganged up on.
I'm already. Wait, they're gonna win. They're gonna go 1, 2, 3. Second,
I don't know, man.
I can't wait to read the blog posts about and it's gonna be people leaving blog posts that are just like, man, I really, gravel's supposed to be fun and free and exciting, and then these guys show up with Swan Years. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait.
Well, we'll see how they roll it. I kind of imagine they're going to do small teams. It'll be a little less investment in those races and a little more mellow.
Now, we did talk a little bit, Spencer, about the Australian Rose Gnats, and little guy was telling us a little bit about Katusha showing up in a purple kit. Mm-hmm. So I think it's time we roll right into Aussie Corner.
Aussie Corner? Oh, yeah. Well, as you know, we are one of the top outdoor sports and recreation podcasts in Australia, and that's due in no small part to our crack reporting on all the Aussie news that's fit to print. And one of those things is that the Tour Down Under is right around the corner. As we all know, that is mostly a training camp for all the European World Tour teams, but something very important was going on this week there, which is the Aussie Road Nationals.
Yes. And you know what my favorite thing is about the Australian Road
I
Nationals?
have
and the New
no
Zealand?
idea what your favorite thing is.
Is that there's a lot of teams I've never heard of in them.
Yeah.
And they do quite well.
They do quite well. The one that I wanted to highlight was the women's race for the Elite National Championships. We had Mitchelton Scott in-house, obviously the powerhouse there, Amanda Spratt and et al. Racing for the win. And they got upstaged in a glorious upset. They were beat to the line by Sarah Gigante, who is 18 years old. Crushed them.
18?
Crushed them.
Oh, man.
So, according to internet rumors, she is going to, by whatever rules they have there, she's going to be winning the U23 and the Elite National Championship because they were in the same race.
That's badass.
It's pretty badass. And she held off the whole team. Her quotes after the race were pretty amazing. She was like, oh, the director was in my ear saying Mitchelton Scott has 3 women on the front chasing. And she was like, oh my God, my idols are chasing me, And it's pretty awesome. It puts it into perspective. And it sounded like an amazing race to watch and see. And, those Aussies always bringing it.
And on the men's side, the Michael Freeberg, who the only reason I know that name is as a former track racing aficionado, is that he won like the Omnium title a long time ago. He won for Pro Racing Sunshine Coast, which I don't even know what that team is, but it sounds amazing. The kit, it's a little too Astana-ish for me, but
The shade's different. The shade's different. What I liked is that in that 4-man break in the men's race, you had 2 Michelin Scott riders, and then you had the guy
lost.
you had the guy who won and then the guy who got third, and they're on different teams, but from a distance they're almost the same, like aqua color, like they're like they look like the same kit. So when you see the picture, you're like, oh, 2 guys from 2 different teams made the move, but not the case.
I did see that Durbridge got 4th, and I knew that was going to bug you.
Turbo Durbro.
But
what I like about the Australian Nationals actually is that we do get to hear about all these weird teams and smaller team riders, because they have the weird fluke of it's their summer, and so everyone local is killing it, and all the Euro pros need to peak in like 3 months, and they can be good, but they can't be tip top. Like if they're going to do Roubaix, you can't be full on right now unless you're Vanderpool or Wout van Aert, So like
my favorite part about it is, besides the teams that we've never heard of, is that it's the first glimpse at the kits, right? Like, how are they going to unveil the kits? Like, ooh, does something slip through the cracks? And then there's, the new national championship that people forget about. And then there's the new kit or whatever. It's pretty exciting to see. Now, it's summer down there. So, congrats to the winners. And I think that we just crushed Aussie Corner.
Yeah, it was a cracker.
But let's get back to the real fun and little guy. That is, of course, Matthew Vanderpool.
Number 100.
His
and a 101.
100th race.
100 and 100 and 101. I wanted to say, so he won everything this weekend, obviously, because he's Vanderpool. And he won on New Year's Day, which was after you guys did the podcast last time. And you guys were talking on the podcast a little bit like, oh, it's going to be muddy and Vanderpool won't do so well. And like, then he comes out in a muddy race, crashes right away, is almost the last rider on the course, and still rides through everybody and crushes everybody. Like, still did a standard off the front Vanderpool.
Yeah.
Well, there's no stopping him, I think.
Well, that's the dilemma, right? How do you answer the question I had last week that I asked Spencer? How do you explain Matthew Vanderpool to a roadie? Like, what's going to be a successful career for Matthew Vanderpool?
Yeah, I mean, no, I think he's right. He's got to win some classics. He's got to win worlds.
He's got to win the monuments.
He's got to win a monument this year. Or at least
no pressure.
at least
MVDP.
no, maybe not a monument, but so I forget they released his like Spring Classic schedule, and he's going to do Amstel because he's Dutch, and I think he needs to just win Amstel. So it's a classic, but it's not a monument. So like start small and just be the first Dutch rider since Mr. Teeth Commercial Boogard himself, I think, won it, and set the Dutch. Just the Dutch will go crazy. They'll get 2 feet taller out of excitement.
Now, what we were talking a little bit about last week, little guy.
Yeah.
And this is something that Spencer and I, we had a lot of podcast green room talk, and we were talking about our Mount Rushmore of cycling teams starting from when we became cycling fans together. I think collectively we started becoming cycling fans around 2003-ish. Yeah. That's how we met each other, being messengers, working the beat, delivering the packages, just being a cog in the system. And Spencer and I nominated in our Mount Rushmore of cycling teams, Fossa Bortolo.
Yeah, I know you did.
I thought it was going to be a unanimous choice, because to get on our Mount Rushmore, it takes a lot of time to carve a team jersey into a mountain. So we need to agree. Is Fossa Bortolo on Mount Rushmore for the three of our teams? Because it needs to be unanimous.
Yeah, what is your guys' argument for it? Because I've got some arguments against it. It's never a team I was very excited about, and I don't. What is your individual reason?
Brico helmets is number one.
Did they really wear Brico helmets?
Yeah,
they had the helmet that had the 3 vents.
All right, that's a good reason. I'll give you a point on that, Timmy. Spencer,
now that helmet was like a turbine. The amount of air coming through. Listeners of the podcast, just Google Alejandro Pataki.
Briko.
And he had this nice helmet with just 3 vents. It was a turbine.
What? But say that we're just doing the jersey up there, and I don't know if I want to give the jersey space on a mountain because a helmet used to float above the jersey.
A damn good looking kit.
It was a good looking kit. They were solid. They matched the bikes. They had the full deal, like with the Pinarello bikes at the time, I think. And that's what I look for is the total package and the what comes out of that team, which was Cancellara, Fletcher, Pipo, and so on and so on. There were a lot more. Pataki, Pataki's pretty good.
Here's my argument for my counter to yours, Spencer. Yeah, what comes out of that team, but those are riders that came out of the MAPE system, and they just ended up at Fossa Bortolo for a little bit. I don't think we should give Fossa credit for Cancellara, Pipo.
The thing.
Like that recruitment and that development, that is a MAPE system. I feel like Fossa was just sort of it just was a carryover until we handed them to better teams.
But per the rules that Tim has laid out, we can't choose MAPE, but we can.
No, I know.
We can choose Fossa Bortolo, so we should.
Oh, the Italian pronunciation.
But
here's my main argument. What other 4 teams are you going to put in front of them?
Exactly. So, little guy, I'm going to tell you right now. Like once a team gets up on the Mount Rushmore, it can't be taken down, right? So,
here's what I would say: is that it's hard because Quick Step still exists, but I think Quick Step has to be up there.
Yeah,
because we could say 2003, 2004 Quick Step could be up there.
Oh yeah,
and then and 2011, 2012 Quick Step could be up there, and 2018 Quick Step could be up there.
Now, are you
like? Okay.
You're not arguing that
Quick
4
Step.
Quick Steps should be up there.
Okay. No, I'm not saying every Quick Step. I'm just saying that Quick Step is solid across.
Okay.
I'm not a big Fossa fan because, one, sprint wins don't count because sprinting is stupid.
Well.
They had Cancellara and Fletcher and Pipo, but then their like GC team was Danielson, Frigo, who I'm pretty sure every pro rider from that era would agree was the biggest jerk of a doper there was. I think they had Valjevec. I mean, I just can't get excited about this team. I'm sorry, you guys.
All right. Well,
sure.
What would you nominate from that?
Not even as Teddy Roosevelt
from 2000.
Not Rushmore.
From 2003 until now. What would pick one?
Quick Step.
Well, yeah.
Quick Step for sure.
Okay.
I think we're on it. That's Mount.
Right.
That's Washington level.
Sure.
CSC obviously is getting on there.
No.
Dude, look at this. Let me lay out some CSC magic for you. You got
Now,
if it doesn't say Bjarne Reese at the very beginning of this,
Tim, I gotta say, I'm surprised.
Listen, you guys just threw some Cancellara at me, so I'm throwing some Cancellara right back at you. Cancellara.
Yep.
You got O'Grady when he's winning Roubaix.
Yep.
You got 2 Schlecks. Count them. 1, 2. 2 Schlecks.
Yep. Double Schleck.
You got 2 Schlecks, and you got Carlos Sastre.
And the
collarbone is hurting.
the slam
Yeah,
dunk.
you got Tyler Hamilton, and also if that's not enough riding up a hill looking like crap for you, Tyler Hamilton, you got Chris Anker Sorensen, who was the ugliest rider going uphill that went uphill fast in the history of the world. That's a solid.
It's a solid team. It's very close. I could probably be convinced.
How
Here's
could
the
it
problem
not
with
be-
CSC, little guy, is the kit is so damn ugly with the fake abs.
Okay,
And they had Bjarne Reese.
I would say I'm nominating now, Spencer. You can't say that the kit is so ugly it can't go up there because I believe you own that entire kit. So
Yeah.
how are you going to deal with this one?
I had the bibs, the jersey, and the gloves.
Yeah, and the gloves, and you had the crank set. You had the FSA square Tabor carbon crank set.
Well, those I got for free. But yeah, I mean the kit I actually got for free as well. So I don't know how much clout that actually carries, but I am in agreement with little guy that CSC would be on Mount Rushmore.
All right.
I think Tim can be convinced because the nail in the coffin is Tyler Hamilton. Tim
I'll take CSC.
Tim
Yeah,
was Tyler's biggest fan at the time. Winning Liège is probably still a holiday in Tim's mind. But yeah, Sastre, Cadell, like for the Aussie corner, like we've got a lot going for.
Okay, I'll take CSC.
CSC.
You guys convinced me. Quick step CSC.
They had
We
the
still
chicken
have
for a
the
year. Come on.
we still have the Teddy Roosevelt spot, and we still have Abraham Lincoln.
Now, I would nominate, as I did last week, Credit Agricole would be on.
Now the kit's good, Thor, but I don't know if that's Thor's best years. And then what is Christophe Moreau, the third cog in this argument?
This
It's
argument.
not Bobby Julik.
So we got some 4th place finishes there. What else we got?
I mean, how much more do you need? That kit was amazing.
See, this is when I'm gonna if we're gonna go credit Agricole, then I'm throwing in Sunyard Duval. Like that.
Oh, I would
They brought
totally
back-
vote for that.
They brought back Chris Horner. They had people. They had Ricardo Rico. Like
Now,
Yeah. It's Simone.
talk about a team that didn't give any.
that is the worst kit
them.
in the history of professional cycling.
God.
Sonia
That kit
Duval
was so good.
has to go.
So
Now,
good.
it's absolutely getting vetoed. Back to Credit Agricole. We had Jens
I
Voigt.
love that full yellow craziness.
So much
Oh,
good
man.
going on in Credit Agricole.
Okay.
But if you can
So
find me something better than Credit Agricole, I would bump them off. But I don't think you can.
I don't think this is gonna be decided
Any year
today.
FDJ.
I would go with FDJ before I go credit Agricole.
Oh, you have no.
FDJ
they've
is
been
I'm
always a
offended.
better kit than Credit Agricole. Always a better kit. White is pro, and you can't argue with white is more pro than green no matter what you do.
In the early 2000s, yes. Today, no. Green is way better.
Well, anything other than everybody having a red kit would be good right now.
Yeah.
But that's, the wave of colors.
Okay, guys, I got it. U.S. Postal / Discovery Channel. They got Hincapie. They got Frankie Andreu. They have all these great riders.
I think the first year after Discovery became Astana or Brunel took over, I think that's really the best team.
Now, I think.
Wait, Vinokurov was on CSC, right?
No, he was on Astana
No?
and he was on T-Mobile. And I can't even believe we haven't even brought up T-Mobile. I mean, come on.
T-Mobile.
Pink,
No, that one
it's
needs to be
minimal.
on
It's
there.
got the
T-Mobile,
three
for sure.
stripes.
Okay.
I'm all in on T-Mobile.
I think
that's,
we're all
that's
in.
going down.
We're all in on
Are we on T-Mobile or are we on Telecom? Which way do we want to roll it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're going Stapleton's T-Mobile.
We'll
It was
say
amazing.
they're both like encompassed in this, but the one we're gonna carve into the mountain is the Telecom jersey.
Okay,
Yeah, it's
that's
a little more-
because they also had Zabel. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's listeners to the podcast right now that were yelling T-Mobile into their
yeah.
car stereo right now, going, "You guys need to pick Telecom or T-Mobile." So that's sense. We got Quickstep, CSC, T-Mobile. I don't know who's taking Roosevelt's spot. I mean, it's kind of forgotten a little bit. Like, what's going to be the
Lamprey,
favorite
man.
of the pod?
Lamprey.
No, I would say the obvious choice here is we got a lot of things covered, especially most importantly, maybe the Schlecks with CSC. But could we pull a coup and have them represented twice and get the Leopard kit?
Yeah. And then just, I don't know if that one's, I don't know. Maybe if it's the Luxembourg national
Euskaltel?
kit.
What about Euskaltel Scotty? Iban Mayo.
I could be convinced.
Beldia.
I could be convinced of this.
Like the fan group wise,
Yeah.
Tell me you weren't excited when that kid's musette bag wrapped on Lance Armstrong's bike.
Oh, yeah.
And Mayo kind of attacked.
Do you think the guy who designed their kits is just screaming every time he sees the CCC kit now? He's like, come on, everybody made fun of me. Come on.
Do you think that all of a sudden Team CS or Triple C is now going to be sitting there in the Pyrenees going like, man, we have a lot of fans. Like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Maybe they'll get a Basque rider or two just to really, they've got room on that roster to pad it out a little bit.
Do we have any negative, any nay votes on Euskaltel Euskadi?
I think the
No,
only nay vote is
I
that
like
there's
it.
only one spot left on, and we're like, do you want to cast do you want to just start carving the jersey into the mountain? Like, is that the best we've got left?
I think I would put it ahead of Cartier
What about-
Agricole. I would put it ahead of FDJ.
What about Unibet?
I
For
would take
legacy,
Euskadi.
for quality and for entertainment value.
What about Unibet?
Question mark. So bad. I would totally
come
be
on.
all in on Euskadi. Euskatel Euskadi.
I'll
I'm
go for
done.
it. That's fine.
Now,
All right.
okay,
I'm never
so we've
gonna
got our
visit
Mount
this
Rushmore
anyway.
of cycling favorite teams: Quickstep, CSC, T-Mobile, and Euskadi. Euskatel Euskadi. That gets us to the next part. Where are we going to put Bling Matthews on this wall?
Janitorial services at the building that sort of like the visitor center.
Oh, okay.
I have a great opinion on that, but we're going to have to get to it after this preem lap.
I'm Joe Dombrowski from Cannondale Drop Pack, and you are listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.
All right. Once again, we'd like to thank all of our listeners to the Slow Ride Podcast, and most importantly, the members and supporters of the Wide Angle Podium Network. Go to wideanglepodium.com to find out more about your favorite cycling shows. As we've talked many weeks in the past, we have a new show on the network, and that is the Gravel Lot. Check them out. Even though the name says gravel, it's not just gravel. It's actually just a pretty good conversation. And we have Crosshairs Radio. Let's not forget about Bill and the wonderful work he's doing, including Crosshairs Television.
Well,
Spencer.
Tim, I hate to interrupt and correct you because, I let you go with so many incorrect things throughout the podcast for 232 episodes so far.
Yeah.
He has changed the name.
Oh.
He has changed the name officially, and it is Cyclocross Radio and Cyclocross Television. Just want to put that
Thank
out
you.
there so that we don't get angry emails from Bill again this week, like we get every single week for the past, 8 weeks. It's like a hobby of his.
Yeah. Well, Cyclocross Radio and Cyclocross Television. Bill, I'm so sorry. I read all of your emails. It's still fantastic to read. But let's get to the important things. Is that not only can you listen to the independent cycling media that we have across the board, Consummate Athlete, Bike Shop CX, lots of great shows on the network. We also have Grimpeur Brothers Coffee with a brand new blend in honor of Bill from Cyclocross Radio and Cyclocross Television. Hello, Cyclocross Friends.
Yes.
Espresso blend.
Yes, this is delicious. This is brand new from our friends at Grimpeur Brothers. It is, it's an espresso blend. It's what you need to get you going in the morning, and you can support the Wide Angle Podium Network by purchasing it. It is easy to do. Head over to wideanglepodium.com/coffee, and that'll take you to the new page where you can find Cyclocross Friends along with the full Schleck, which is still available as well, at least for now. So if you haven't tried it, check that one out as well, because it might not be there forever like the Schlecks.
No.
My favorite part about the Grimpeur Brothers Coffee we have a couple of listeners that have emailed in that what they do is they have the like the subscription to the coffee. So like they just get it once a month, which is pretty awesome. So now you got the new coffee. But here's my question, Spencer. You are the coffee expert on the pod. I am not I had a flat white the other day. I don't even know what it was, but it tasted good when I was out at the coffee shop on my ride.
It's Australian.
So I go in. Is it? This is a common thing.
It is.
Okay. Educate me here real quick. Espresso blend. I went into a coffee shop. They only had drip coffee. I asked for an espresso, and the woman behind the counter said, "We do AeroPress." What is that still espresso?
It's still coffee. You can use whatever beans you like, Tim. That's the thing.
Okay.
Is with the espresso blend, it's just a darker roast. It doesn't mean you need a fancy espresso machine to make it. It doesn't mean you have to have a built-in coffee bar in your kitchen. In your coffee station. You can make that in your French press. You can make it in your AeroPress. You can make it in your Chemex. You can make it in your Mr. Coffee. It's fine. It's going to work.
Okay.
It's just got a very nice espresso-y flavor to it, and it's roasted a little longer than like a light roast or medium roast. That's all that refers to is how long they toasted those beans. So.
Okay, I feel that I actually learned a lot there. So thank you for not making me feel like a petulant child that I am for not knowing how coffee works. I appreciate that. I'm sure there's other listeners because I had no clue that that's what it came down to as I'm trying to learn this wonderful world of coffee. But I'm getting there. So thanks to Grimpeur Brothers for their continued support, and go to wideanglepodium.com/coffee to find out more.
Yes.
What up? This is Golem Skoyinch, and you're listening to the Slow Ride Podcast.
Hey guys, we are back here on the show, and something is on the docket that we really need to get to.
Okay.
And that is a 90-year-old gentleman just got busted positive for doping at the U.S. Track Nationals. I have a couple questions here.
I, for one, am glad that they're cleaning up this system of dirty dopers in this country and finally cracking down on the ones who are really screwing it over for everyone else.
Yeah.
I mean, Carl Grove, the doper. I mean, seriously.
What is he busted
in all
for?
seriousness, what a horrible, he's 90 years old. Come on,
Wait,
man.
are you saying there's an age where we should just let people get away with doping? Oh, he's 80. He didn't know that he was ingesting all that EPO in microdoses.
Well, okay.
I think it is
here's the thing.
ridiculous.
Now, he got busted for a test after his win. He was the only one in the field, so he did win.
He got a world record too, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But they did not choose to suspend him because he had been tested in competition the day before and tested negative. So they believed his contaminated meat story of what he ate that evening because it wasn't his system the day before and it was the next day. So it's an interesting...
So he had a
valid- 'cause you could-
celebratory steak?
I don't know.
You can dope between days. If you can eat a steak that has contaminants in it, why can't you just dope between days? I don't understand that.
Little guy, my grandma's around 90, and she doesn't do a whole lot between days. I'm gonna be straight with you.
Except eat steak.
Why are we testing some? I mean,
Because you have to test everybody that wins, especially if they set a world record too.
there's just sure.
Tim, think of all the Type A retired lawyers that are going to start doping when they're 75. If you get rid of doping,
Okay, then
at that
test
age.
75. I feel when you get to 90, you may be over the.
Send him
little
to
guy,
prison. Send him to prison.
I'm just. Don't we have better things to test and do than testing? I mean, Okay, whatever.
So,
we can drop it.
This is what
I think this can be an argument.
This is what $5 of your USA cycling license is going to, I guess. Who feels pretty good about that?
I feel pretty good about it.
Did you buy a license this year?
Yeah, I bought a license.
Okay.
I did more races than you two combined.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And I did like
So,
8.
I just feel that like maybe when you get to 80,
80.
like,
So
whatever,
80's
man.
the
You know
point.
what? You're still alive.
80's the point.
This is
where
this is speaking as a stroke victim here.
Oh, well, okay. I didn't know you had that. You had this insight into being 80.
Okay, you know what?
All right.
Congratulations on your world record to
Wait,
Carl Grove.
so
and
is he
I feel it's a
suspended or
shame that
what's-
you were not suspended, but he tested positive.
So they're taking the
They
world
ended up-
record away now?
I think they take the world record away.
No,
Oh,
I don't
no.
think they did anything. They believed his story.
That's so
Then
weird.
Maybe the system worked out.
You think
Maybe they realized it
Contador's
was-
like super pissed? He's like, you believe his story, but you don't believe my story? I know where I was yesterday. That guy doesn't even remember where he was yesterday.
I was little guy. You didn't have a chance last week to talk on the pod about Stybar showing up to racing, and
Yeah.
the only thing that I wanted to just mention, and I think this is where you were getting at, were the sweet gifs that were showing up on my Twitter feed and my
Oh my
Facebook
God.
feed of Stybar getting some killer air.
He got
Tail
some
whips.
huge air at that New Year's race. Oh my God. He was gigantic. That was awesome. That was the best part of seeing him back.
Yeah.
He raced okay too.
And then
Not like
was it
Boom.
Lars Boom's Spencer is saying that his goal was just not to get lapped by
Yeah.
Vanderpool?
Guess
Yeah.
what happened?
Which is a great goal to have. I think that is reasonable. He also had a quote that I saw that where he said he wanted to do more racing next year, which I really resonated with me personally, and probably with most amateur cyclists out there. It's like,
Nice.
oh yeah, next year, oh man, next year I'm going to be on it. I'm going to be training. I'm going to get on Strava Premium. I'm going to be all set.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So-
he's getting a coach next year.
Lars
He's getting
Boom,
a power meter too.
Yeah, Lars Boom is the people's hero at this point. He is all of us. We are all Lars Boom. And yeah, I was glad to see him out there. Even if he, didn't have as good a showing as maybe Stybar did.
So he got lapped. Do you guys see that friend of the pod? We've all, maybe Tim, you haven't raced against him, but Josh Bauer 5 laps down today to Vanderpool.
I saw that. Yeah.
That I would have been at least 8. That's what that means. That's the put it in relation to how I know I'm riding compared to Bauer, because he was destroying me at Minnesota State's. So
we had a do you guys have anything more on cyclocross before I segue Sam this out of here to catch up a little bit on some listener emails?
Oh, what do you got?
no.
Well, we did get an email last week. Capface from Joshua Kohler. Please discuss on the pod. And all it was, there wasn't even a body to the message. It was just the Androni kit.
Ah, yes.
It's a good kit.
This thing has, guys, is this the best Androni kit of all time? Like, this
Oh,
is not
it's
Pro
so
Tour,
hard
but
to
I
say.
may take this in the draft next week because I counted at least 14 different logos on just the jersey alone. It is amazing.
That's just the front. Did you even get to find the back? He just sent us a picture of the front. I didn't spend the time to go Google the back. There could be 14 different sponsors on the back.
I mean, this thing is amazing. The best part is the graphic that they put out, the team put out, was that there was flames underneath the bottom of it. Like they're embracing in full totality what they are producing year after year.
Oh, yeah.
Like they're just, you want to be on this team? Bring a sponsor. We will put your uncle's company, plastics company, on the front of this jersey. It is going to be amazing.
Yep.
So one of the sponsors on there is actually like Legos. It's like some sort of cut rate Lego.
Nice.
Unico Plus.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm assuming
It's-
it's like the poor man's Lego. I don't know.
It's a very very impressive kit. I was stoked to see that. And then there's a couple of other things that have come through the pipeline, and one of the things that's I think kind of near and dear to all of us is that 101 Bike Shop in Minneapolis is moving. So like they dug out the basement, the archaeological site that was the basement of the 101 Bike Shop in Minneapolis, U-Haul trailers to South Minneapolis. But friend of the pod and a of ours, Hurl from Cars Are Coffin magazine, had a retrospective today on his page of the 10 Bianchi single speed mountain bikes that were produced.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love them.
So he has great pictures of all 10. Now, this is for fandom wise. Now, Spencer, you are an owner of the Puss.
Yep.
The pink, ugly single speed. So,
Yep.
fantastic bike. The Puss was a great bike because it was it had the disc brakes
Yep.
all the way through. But my question to you guys is, over the 10 years, how many of these are you going to be able to name? There's 10 Bianchi single speeds. I know we have listeners right now that are working in bike shops starting to scribble down the 10 Bianchi single speeds that were produced before they went out of production in 2008, I believe. 2007, maybe?
Yeah.
So, do you guys know what they are?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I can guess.
And we could try to do them in order if you want.
Oh, no, gosh, no.
I could probably get them pretty close to in order.
All right.
I can name 3, so Spencer, go for it.
I have 7. I have 8. I'm missing a couple.
All right, let me start off.
Well,
how about
it
this?
starts with the Bass. I'm pretty sure.
The Bass for sure. So the Bass was
Neon green.
the badass single speed, and it was orange.
Oh, orange.
And it had
Really?
the sick post brakes. I mean, this was a good looking bike.
I thought the orange one was
badass
the
single
Boss.
Nope.
Okay. I could be wrong.
There's actually 2 Basses that came out.
Oh, the story changes.
Because then you had the green single speed.
Okay, so that's
that
the
was
one
right
I'm
after the
thinking
Bass.
of. Cause,
Wait. The Bass is green, dude.
yeah,
No, there's the green and the orange.
no, I think the Boss is orange and the Bass is green.
All right.
Okay, sure. So there's an orange and the green one.
'Kay.
I'm pretty sure they're both Bass, but it might be the bad orange single speed.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
They're right next to each other. Okay. Next up.
Okay.
What do you got?
Next up, man,
This one's on your list for sure.
it's probably the Bus.
It is the Bus. It's the brown, ugly single speed, and they had the gold components.
Yeah,
like
The
this.
gold one.
beautiful.
Okay.
This is probably the Spencer. You wanted the Bus.
Yep.
This is the one I want.
It's
I
a
want-
good one.
I want the Bus because it's got
really?
it's got the gold stem.
Yep.
Like this, beautiful.
Yep.
Oh,
Then
Okay.
Tim.
next, I'm going to guess next is probably the Cuss.
It is the Cuss.
Awesome.
And the Cuss was the Celeste ugly single speed. This is also a very popular one. This is one a lot of people, Bianchi fans, wanted because it was the first time they went to Celeste and it had the red highlights. So we have the Cuss.
Yeah.
That's right. And then next up is their first ever disc brake.
Yeah, so that's going to be the Dis.
That is the disc. So
Disc
Hurl's got
integrated.
this one looking good. The disc single speed.
Yep,
That's where it went downhill right there.
it did.
It's pretty much when it did go downhill. That is right.
I think after
All right.
the Dis came the Cis, which was the chrome, like Bianchi Pista era.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. This is definitely the Bianchi piece of the Cis. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're right.
Then
No, the Cis was more of matte.
Yeah, it's more like gray.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's
So
gross is what it
okay,
is.
sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That was gray, and then came the chrome one, which I don't remember the name
The
of.
chrome one. The SAS, the
SAS.
shiny ass single speed.
Okay.
Yep. The SAS. But yes, the chrome one.
Okay.
I remember the chrome one kind of getting a little bit of love there in Minneapolis.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I feel that there's a lot sold on closeout or employee purchases that year for the chrome one. Like people are like, I think this disc thing is going to stick
Well,
around for a while. So I'm going to finally get my single.
Yeah,
speed.
the thing about it is that they were all aluminum bikes with nice fat tubes, like all the way through the SAS and the Cis became like steel, thin tubed, and they didn't look as cool. And I don't know if there's a price difference or what, but they were definitely trying to like look like that Bianchi Pista. They were really trying to capitalize on that fixed gear frenzy that was going on then, and I don't think it went well. And then they switched back to the aluminum and the retro stylings of the classic single speed series with the next 3 that I don't remember the order that they come in.
But you got the puss,
You got the puss,
the pink ugly,
you got the wuss,
and then
you
and
got
then
the
they went to
gus.
shocks. So the puss was sold as a rigid.
Okay.
And then they started selling the complete bikes with a shock front fork, and that's when you get to the gus.
Yep.
Which many of us
According to legend.
knew, which is legend because that's Gene's ugly single speed of 1-on-1.
Yep.
So, because that was probably the only store that actually bought
Yes.
or gave these away at discount to everybody.
It's a pretty bad color.
I used to call it Gino's ugly single speed for a reason. Like, this thing is nasty. And then finally you had the last ever one, and that was the wuss.
Yep.
The white ugly single speed.
Yep.
So it was kind of a pretty good run of single speed mountain bikes that it's hard to find 26-inch mountain bikes anywhere
Well,
in the country.
I'm gonna say, I got my puss, and I'm gonna tell you right now, you can fit 27.5s in there and make it a pretty modern single speed mountain bike. Now you're not gonna get much over a 2.2, 2.25 tire in there, of course, but man, it's fun to ride.
Nothing over 2.5. That's gigantic.
2.25.
2.25. Okay. I was going to say, like, the most I can cram in it, either of my mountain bikes is a 26 by 2.2.
Chris.
Oh, well, I don't know. I
like
think
rubbing.
I got to set the eBay alert. I'm already like,
You guys are crazy. I kind of
so
hate
Sarah
those
told me that
bikes.
she doesn't listen. Sarah told me she doesn't listen to podcasts anymore. So,
Yeah, that's so weird.
I can tell you guys all my inadequacies now.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the biggest is that getting the Klein touring bike didn't really go over super well.
When did you tell her?
What's that?
How did you, so you already had made the purchase, and then you told
We were eating
Sarah
dinner, and
that
I was
you'd
just like,
spend
"Oh, hey, by the
$500
way, I
of
bought a new Klein."
both of your money? Okay.
I could have played it a little bit better. I failed.
You guys weren't
So
doing
I
the
don't think
accounting.
I'm going to be able to buy a Bianchi single speed anytime soon. So if you guys can, and we just got hit up on the Facebook group. Friend of the pod from Toronto, Enrico Trainee, was just telling that he had a $215 Klein Quantum medium frame fork bar and seat post, and that's 215 Canadian. So it's like 175 like US. And
the exchange rate that good right now? I don't think it's that good, but yeah, maybe.
Well, anyways,
one can dream.
So I can't really buy any new stuff, guys.
I gotta-
Can you guys keep an eye out for me for good
You
stuff?
know what you could do, Tim, is just sell that touring bike and get a real bike.
Oh, I need the touring bike for the Natchez Trace we're all gonna do. It's gonna be great.
Uh-huh.
All right, I got 2 things to go. You guys get to decide which choose your own adventure.
Okay.
Lane 1. This is gonna be the final segment of the pod. So lane
I
1.
had something to ask you too, but okay, don't ask me, Tim.
Okay, no, little guy, you go first, and then I'll capstone it. What do you got?
I was thinking the other day as I was going down the street that there's one thing when I'm riding that I like to run over. Do you guys have something you like to run over?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can I tell you first what I like to run over, and you guys tell me like something you like? You're riding down the street.
Can we guess?
Yeah,
Can we
what-
guess what you'd like to run over?
What do I like to run over?
Cassette tape. Like,
No,
like
I
the
don't-
ribbons of cassette tape.
No.
I think you enjoy running over that
No,
so that
no.
you trail it all across the city.
No, that would bug me. I like to pick up random cassette tapes. I like to run over cigarette like a box of, like a cigarette carton because it makes it's solid enough that it makes a nice noise when you run over it, but you're not going to get it. It's not going to get stuck in your tire. It's not going to give you a flat, and it makes a satisfying little sound. And I know I've just ruined some cigarettes, which is also kind of funny, I think.
Nice. No, that's okay.
What do you like to run over?
it's Souls. Souls of those I've dropped on the rides.
Oh, I thought you dropped hammers on them.
I like rolling over etcher blades because they make a really nice loud sound, and then I go back and pick them up.
Oh, have you gotten a flat
That's how
from
I
one?
know that they're there.
Even with your tire, have you gotten a flat from rolling over one? Even with
Never.
your completely shredded tire?
No, it's shredded for a reason.
Yeah.
Spencer, is there anything you like to roll over when you're riding your bike?
I mean, I'll roll over anything, man. Like, really doesn't matter.
Okay.
I kind of bulldoze
All right.
whatever, and sometimes I live to regret it, and most of the time I don't.
So
Like if
when I
I
was
see
becoming a courier,
All right.
when I was becoming a courier, I had my Surly Crosscheck, and then I went to the Terranaut. And I recall you two telling me this. Can you guys tell me if this is true, that you guys did this? Like it was factual, or were you just giving me a hard time and I was super rookie and I believed everything that you vets told me?
That's a good question. Okay.
You may remember that I ran a 32C front tire and I had like a 25C rear road tire. So I have a cross tire up front and then a road tire in the back.
Wow.
I didn't remember
And
that.
I recall you guys telling me that like you want to have grip in the front versus the back. Is there any like truth to that?
I mean, for just riding around town? I don't see
In the
point of
winter.
that.
I remember you guys saying like, no man, when the snow comes, you want to have the grip up front. It's like you go barreling through snowbanks.
I would say ideally you'd want to have grip everywhere, but I guess if you have to pick one place to stick it, I guess I'd stick it in the front. And the bottom's just going to dig down. You got all that weight on the bottom. You're going to get more grip out of even the crappiest tire with all the weight on there.
So you guys were looking out for me.
I 100% definitely believe we told you this, and I 100% believe we laughed after you left, and we're like, "You think he'll do it?" And then you did.
Okay, so let's go down Let's go down Podcast Avenue with the super rookie here.
Okay.
2 choices. We can go left. We can talk about litter bugs, or we can go right and we can talk about the championship belt. What is it you guys want to discuss on the pod to wrap the show?
I'm going to vote litter bugs because I don't know where we're going with that. It's a little more exciting.
I'm gonna vote litter bugs as well because I don't want to talk about anything else.
Okay, we don't need to talk about the championship belt. We know who has the championship belt. We don't need to even discuss on this Slow Ride pod, but let's talk about litter bugs. I was on a ride the other day, rolling along, 14 people on the group ride. A gentleman takes a goo, like eats the goo, takes the goo wrapper, and gracefully just throws it to the ground, like into the median.
Classy.
I'm the back marker of the group. He's kind of in the middle. I then go, wow, did he just, like I say out loud, did he just throw like a wrapper? Like, cause I didn't know what to believe. And 2 other people were like, yeah, I know. Like, I can't believe that he just did that. How am I supposed to react? What am I supposed to do?
Do you know the guy?
I've never met him before. Tall socks, arrow helmet, one of those really big arrow helmets, and an arrow bike.
I would say you just very loudly from the back say, "Hey, next time give it to the team car."
Yeah, that's
Okay.
good. That's good.
That's good.
You could yell,
I was a
I
little
got goo on
dumbfounded.
me.
No. He looked behind him so that he wasn't going to throw it on one of the riders.
Oh, wow. Very considerate.
Like he wanted to make sure he wasn't going to affect anybody else's ride. He just wanted to throw it on the ground.
Yeah, I think what Spencer said is good to do. And then also just ban him from the ride.
Yeah, also ban him from the ride.
Well, it's not my ride. I'm sure there's going to be discussions before the next ride. But so I go up next. I was like, which one of you guys just threw the wrapper on the ground? Because like, I was trying to be a little bit more, instead of just accusatory, maybe I should have been more direct. And he turns to say, oh, that was me. I sincerely apologize. I ride these roads twice a week.
That is the dumbest excuse I've ever heard in my life.
I don't even think he was trying to make an excuse. I think he was just like, yeah, I ride out here all the week. Like, yeah, like it's my roads. I didn't know what to do. So I huffed and puffed. And I was just like, what do you do?
I don't know.
I'm not going to go back and pick it up because I would have been dropped and it was windy. Like, I don't know what to do.
You gotta stick with the team car. You gotta tell them, hey man, I know that you ride these all the time, but next time give it to the team car. And he's gonna be like, look, what are you talking about? There's no team car. And you say, exactly. Put it in your pocket then.
Because I said, oh, well, that's why we have pockets.
Yeah.
And then I went away. But anyways,
you just politely ask him to never ride in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was so strange. I was just kind of like,
cool, stay
so
over
I said
here.
Something.
Don't come in my part of town ever.
I was kind of proud of myself for saying something. I was like, man. And then my buddy that I ride with all the time, Greg, was like, this is going on the podcast, isn't it? Yeah. And I was like, well, I don't know. We'll see if the guys want to go down that avenue or not.
Oh, yeah. I can't believe that he was so flippantly just like, this is my area to litter.
This is The littering bugs me. It is the worst. It is worse than riding on a group ride with headphones, which is already pretty bad. It is worse than riding on a group ride with aero bars.
Yes.
In fact, this ride had a couple gentlemen on aero bars. You know what was great about them? They weren't riding in the aero bars. They were just out riding bikes and having a good time. They were great to talk to. It was a fantastic ride. Like, no issues.
Yeah.
Bring your aero bars, clip-ons or not, but don't litter.
The nice
It's
thing,
so bad.
there's one nice thing about riding with someone with aero bars is that there's less wind resistance, so it's easier to talk to them. Like just noise wise, you don't have all that extra noise. You know, like if everyone's riding on the tops, you know, it's like loud. But if they're in the arrows, you know,
This little guy. Rumor has it that you're going to be in the Sunshine State yourself.
I'm gonna be on vacay next week.
Vacay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll see what we can do. We can see if we can find a replacement for you, but we will. We'll get back. We definitely want you on the top corner, draft corner for the 2019 Jersey season. And with that, we'd like to thank all of our listeners and supporters of the Wide Angle Podium Network. We'd like to thank the Grimpeur Brothers and those that have purchased coffee at wideanglepodium.com/coffee to support the shows that they love. And we'd like to thank BK1 of Rhymesters Entertainment for the intro and outro music to every episode of the Slow Ride Podcast. This is Tim in Orlando, Florida.
This is Matt in Minneapolis.
And this is Spencer in Boston, Massachusetts, reminding you to always wave at all your fellow cyclists that you see out on the road.
The Slow Ride Podcast. Bikes, advice, and rumors straight from the source. TheSlowRidePodcast.com and on Twitter at TheSlowRidePod.